You are
Right.
live.
You are live. I love it. Awesome. Welcome, guys. We're live now. And if you're already popping on, just go ahead and hit us with that hashtag live. And we're not going to start until 11. And it really seems, based on the last few lives we've done, that people have tuned in even like between 11 and 11:10 or 20. People have, oh, we've got a live and a like. Come on. I love it.
Yeah,
Let's
so
do
based on that information, we're not going to start sharing anything of real value until about 11:10, 11:20. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. No, opposite. We don't have time to wait. Cool. Okay, it's Stasia. Awesome. Awesome. She's live. She's here. Perfect. Oh, so StreamYard is ahead of what I'm seeing in the group. It's showing 3 people. So join us, guys. Join us. We're so happy you're here. Give us the hashtag live as you're joining live, and we're just a minute away. Yeah. This is exciting. Pre-warning for those who are here a minute early, we're going to hit the ground running today. We could just expound on everything in today's talk for a week or 2 or 5. It's going to be
this is like the condensed version. But yeah, there's a lot we had to cut out.
We still had to skim some off the top to get the lid to screw on. And that's of the condensed stuff. 10:59. I think we're just going to hit it at 11. And it's 11. It's 11 o'clock. All right, guys, welcome. There's a few people on here right now. We know that a lot of other people will jump in over the coming minutes. But, guys, we have so much, and we don't want to drag out each day. An hour is not a lot of time for us to run through today's stuff. So we're going to jump right in. So go ahead. If you're joining us live right now, comment hashtag live, and we're so glad you're here. And we're also welcome everyone who's going to be catching the replay later. Welcome to this as well, because you're here with us right now when you're watching it. So give us a hashtag replay when you do that. Today is part 2 of 2, which it could be part 2 of 50 of mindset. Yesterday we talked about foundational mindset. Today we're going to talk about success and abundance mindset. So success mindset and abundance mindset. And those are 2 sides of the same coin, honestly. So it's not really 2 separate things. It's all mindset. It's one coin, but there are 2 big sides of it that we're hitting today. And guys, we're going to jump right in right now. And we want to start actually with the abundance mindset side of the coin. And we actually want to start by talking about, and of course, a spam call would come in on my phone and light up right in my face as we're getting started. We want to start with actually talking about the law of attraction. There's so much out there about it. There's a lot of different takes on it, but there's a few things that we want to say about it. And we can tell you from experience, from all of the people that we talk to every day and network with every day, that there's one very, very, very simple rule that we want to talk about in the law of attraction. And that is, what you focus on is exactly what you will get every single time. You will always get exactly what you expect to get. Tony Robbins says it this way: what you focus on expands. So Greg's hack is focus on your bank account and it'll blow up. But all jokes aside, that is very true.
And a specific number, that's where most people get it wrong. They just I think we mentioned this in a previous video. I don't know if it was yesterday or not, or one of the kind of pre-videos, but a big mistake that most people make is they just say they want to make more money, and it's just a vague goal. When it comes to losing weight, they just want to lose more weight or lose some weight. They don't clarify specific numbers. So that's the key element there, is like you need to be very specific about like the exact number you want to hit, and then you can reverse engineer that.
Exactly. And we're going to talk about goals in a little bit, but that is just keep that in mind. That's one of the biggest 4 or 5 main pieces of today, and so important. Guys, if you focus on your failures and on failing and on things not working, that'll be the only things that you can see, and that'll be the only things that grow in your mind. And then all of your action is going to follow these thoughts of failure. And what is that going to lead to? Failure. But if you focus on the successes that you've already had and what's working, and you continue to focus on the successes that you want and the things that you want to work, you're going to hone in on all the positive pieces of that. And those are what are ultimately going to grow. It's just that simple. So hone in on the positive and create more of it. And guys, I'm following my notes because I could go down a lot of rabbit holes today. So setting a goal is actually the next thing. And Greg already hit on that. It's a huge, huge companion and a huge, huge piece to these mindsets is setting a goal. You must have a clearly defined goal. You have to have a goal, and it cannot be vague. It has to be a number in dollars or a number of days, weeks, or months, a target. There has to be a target in front of you for you to aim at in order for your action to be about hitting that goal. And Greg added this quote just a few minutes ago. If you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every single time. That's Zig Ziglar, an amazing wealth and living encyclopedia of success. If you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every single time. You cannot go into situations with a vague goal because you'll get vague results. How can you dial in and tweak things to achieve a specific goal if you don't even know what that goal is? I could keep going, but I want to keep hitting the notes here. You have to have a goal to focus on so that you ultimately achieve it. If you are a runner and you want to get better, you have to know that you're running a mile. You have to have a number, a distance, and then you have to know that you're running that mile in 7 minutes. And then you have to set a goal that I want to get that down to 6. And now when you get up every day and you have that dedicated taking action success mindset, you've got metrics that you're following. So today I did a mile in 6:55. I shaved 5 seconds off, and you'll train and train until you knock that mile out in 6 minutes. And you know along the way how to measure your progress. Am I progressing or not? If you just don't have a goal, how do you even know you're progressing if you're just throwing things out all over the place? Gosh, I could keep saying that. I always feel a little bit repetitive, but at the same time, I know that this is powerful stuff that will just drive home what we want to say today. So you focus on that number, 6 minutes. All your training, all your effort, all your energy is measured against that goal, and you'll improve until you reach it. If you're vague, if you just go out and run, walk, sweat, and do sort of kind of whatever over and over, you won't make progress nearly as fast. I talked to Greg. Do you have anything you want to jump in and say at this point?
No, this is all good, man. This is really good.
You know, I talked yesterday that
I guess you say, is any of this resonating with you guys? Is this making sense?
Yes. Let us know, guys.
Let us know. Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yep. Just comment yes or give us an emoji or anything, guys. You know, I talked yesterday, I shared a lesson from the Bible about repentance, changing your mind. Your thinking has to change. Here's another thing in the book of Proverbs, which is a book of wisdom. Everything is just nuggets of wisdom that apply to all the kinds of situations that we encounter every day, is that without vision, people perish. Without vision, without a goal, without a plan, things fall apart. The train comes off the tracks. If there's not a bullseye to aim at, then you can be the best, what are they, archer in the world, but
marksman or something,
archer, whatever. But if there's no target, what can that do? So without a vision, you're not going to make it. You're not going to reach the finish line. Without a vision, you're doomed to fail. And that's just the truth. And we've got all the positive to follow up the negative here, because this doesn't need to be a scary thing. This doesn't have to be scary at all. Just take the time to make a goal, to make a plan, and to set a vision. That's all you have to do. This doesn't have to be paralytically causing fear in you. All you need to do is take the urgency in this and say, I got to make a plan. I got to define what 2021 is going to be like at the end of the year and how that differs from how it's going to be in January going into the year, and then lay out some steps to get there. All you've got to do, don't be scared. Don't be, oh my gosh, just set a goal. Just find the first bullseye that you want to focus on. And of course, I've got some stuff to speak to that. Because when you do that, take a couple of hours or a couple of days, it'll go a long way, because vision is seeing. Vision is what you're looking at. Vision is what you're focused on. Vision is where you are going, and what you focus on will grow. You absolutely must have a goal to focus on, and focus on all the positive things along the way to get there. Never forget that, guys. If you're feeling stuck, what are you focusing on? If you're feeling stagnant or stale, what are you focusing on? If you're wondering what's next, what are you focusing on? Set a goal, and those things will become clear. If you don't have one, or you're unsure of what it currently is, please, 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 after this video, stop everything else that you're doing and drill into that. Stop going through a course. Stop. If you're in SEOAD and you're building sites, stop building sites for a couple of hours or a couple of days until you can write down on a piece of paper a goal or 2 or 3 that are clear, and then start back taking action. But now you're aiming at something. Guys, I can't stress this enough, because I've lived it. I've lived wanting to be successful, but having no frame and no color and no clarity to that. And so I just can't stress it enough, guys. I just can't stress it enough.
Yeah, I've got some examples. I don't know if this would be a good opportunity to share them, or if you have it for me to share it later. But I don't know if y'all can relate to this, of just this internet marketing journey, make money online journey, of just kind of feeling like you're not enough, or you don't know enough, or you're just stupid or whatever. Everybody else is smarter than you. That's why you don't have, you have a lack of results. That's how I felt, for many, many years. And I was just ignoring the little bit of success that I was actually already having. So I was chasing these other things, based on screenshots and whatnot, and kind of being jealous of other people's results. But I already had some results. So all I had to do, once it finally clicked for me, this is like 2012 or 13, maybe, for the first time, I was having some success with Udemy courses. So I was making a couple $100 a month. And I don't know why it took forever for it to click for me, but all I had to do to make more money was do more of what was already working. I didn't have to figure out anything new. So that's one example. That's all I had to do to scale my income. And then the second time I can remember is 2016, when I started going to my first live events. And that took me forever just to get the confidence to go to those, which I highly recommend once all this COVID stuff passes, that everybody pick some events and go to them. If you don't know which ones to go, just pick out some of the biggest ones, like Traffic and Conversion Summit and Funnel Hacking Live, just because there's a lot of people there. Even if you don't have to be a fan of ClickFunnels, but a lot of awesome marketers show up there just because there's thousands of people there. And that's going to help you grow significantly. And what I learned at the second live event I went to in 2016, January, I went to my first one, but then like all throughout that year, I guess I made up for lost time. I went through like 4 live events that year. But the second one I went to in March, and I met 2 other SEO guys that, if I said their names, you probably, know who they are. They're very well known in the space still. And they were making lots more money than me at the time. And I think both of them still make way more than me, but they were living this kind of lifestyle I wanted to live. They have their one-man shows. They spend plenty of time with their family and stuff. And they had all this, money and passive income that they were generating through affiliate SEO. And, when you actually get the opportunity to talk to someone for a few minutes, you can kind of quickly size them up and gauge how much you know compared to what they know. And I figured out really quickly that I knew way more than these guys, but they were making way more than me. So the difference between what I was doing and what they were doing was I had all this knowledge, but I was taking very little action because it just kind of paralyzed me. And I always thought that I needed one more secret. And they had both had very, very simple processes. And even though they didn't know as much as me or really care to know as much as me, they took lots more action on those little nuggets of information that they did know, and therefore they were getting lots more results. So my big epiphany when I came back from that event that year was, as much as I wanted to learn more and fill in those missing pieces that I didn't really have the answers to yet, I still had results at the time. Still had the Udemy courses that were making money, and I had a YouTube channel that was making me some affiliate commissions. So I was like, well, until I figure out the secrets that I'm seeking out or that I think I'm missing, I'm just going to double down on the things that I'm already doing, which are producing results. And that's what helped me scale up. I just doing the things that I already know are working and getting results. So it really can be as simple as that. I know it can be challenging in the beginning when you're trying to find that thing that works for you or trying to find that thing that fits your personality. But once you have something, and I'm sure a lot of you in this group have a thing, maybe it's what I've taught in the course, or maybe you've got some other things or a combination of that. While it's not scalable to infinity, to put in whatever 40, 60 hours a week, in the short term, that can help you double, triple your income to buy your freedom, so that you can then figure out softwares and systems to scale without so much of your time. But that alone, once you figure out something that works, just doing more of that thing can help you get to where you want to be financially without having to be as smart as you think you got to be in order to get there.
That's so true, man. That's just let that sink in for I just got to take a deep breath, because that's so true, man. Just yes, 100% yes. Guys, listen to what we have to say today. And then before you do anything else after this call, go and set a goal that you can focus on wholeheartedly before you start taking any more action, because your action will go in the right direction when you're focused on a goal, and it will grow because you're focused on it. To me, this is the last thing I wanted to say, is that to me, the law of attraction, it really just makes sense. Doesn't it just sound right that the things that you focus on are ultimately going to be the things that you put your hands to that ultimately grow? It just, to me, it's actually really logical. If you water a plant and it gets sunlight, it's going to grow. And that's what you do. And that's exactly what you do to things that you focus on. When your focus is on it and your attention is on it, then you're going to nurture it and it's going to grow. It's a law like gravity. Gravity doesn't apply to one person, but not another. It's not based on character, track record, what you want, what you need, how many times you failed in the past, or how successful you are now. It's just a law. It just works. It just makes so much sense. So let me know if I'm crazy or if that makes sense to you as well. And we're going to move on to the next thing. We're going to talk about scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. This is so absolutely critical. I feel like we could probably just talk about this for a year, but scarcity and abundance they're always at war. And talking about abundance, we have to deal with the lie of scarcity. Scarcity will paralyze you. It will turn on your flight instinct and fight or flight. It will turn on the fear instinct to run away. And that will ensure that you fail. You will absolutely fail. So let's deal with a couple of myths in the scarcity mindset. And the first one, Greg is going to do this illustration that I'm not exaggerating when I say this. This illustration rocked my world when Greg first showed it to me a few years ago. And Greg's going to actually pull up a tab here and do an illustration for you guys. So go ahead, man.
Yeah. So before I get into it, I just want to kind of say this too, along the law of attraction and abundance and success and stuff. I'm sure many of y'all have watched the movie The Secret or read the book, or I I've never read it. I've just watched the video probably like a decade ago or whatever, whenever it came out. And, I wanted to believe it, and it resonated with me, just this whatever abundance mindset. But what really bugged me, at least in our niche, our space of make money online, was that almost all the offers and strategies out there that were being taught and sold kind of revolved around, like, it was presented in a scarcity way. Like, and I know that a little bit of that is helps you sell that product, but it's like fear, scarcity, time's running out, the loophole is closing, you got to get in now, sign up before the end of the year, but before, because next year this strategy may not work, so you got to get in and get your money before it goes away forever. And that, being someone that's not the greatest at selling, and I don't think I have any desire to really improve that very much moving forward. And I found a way around that with my process. Yep. But I didn't like that all these, even in like these big marketplaces like the Facebooks and the Googles and the YouTube and stuff, the strategies that other people are selling seem very scarce. And I didn't like the idea of like putting in effort, fighting with these big brands and other affiliates that I thought, were like smarter and better than me, that just like basically fighting over the crumbs. And so we'll probably get into more of some of the elements of my process in the coming sessions and stuff. But I just wanted to, I found another way finally, and that was awesome. But my mind works in like illustrations and stories and analogies and stuff. That's how I make sense of complex information. So I'm going to share this illustration with you. And I don't think I borrowed or stole it from anyone. It just came to me one day, and it made sense of this abundance mindset, and just really how little to basically no competition there is with specifically what we're doing, or really almost anything. So I'm just going to add this, and let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, you're up.
Okay, cool. So I just call this like your true competition, and it's really simple. And within a couple minutes, you'll get this. So first, we've got just these circles, and starting over here on the left-hand side, I just say that this represents the whole world.
Everybody,
billions of people. I don't know how many people on the planet, but maybe like 3 or 4 billion. I don't know. But there's a lot of people on the planet. But surprisingly, I used to think that everybody was just like me, and they wanted to make money, and specifically make money online and have this internet lifestyle freedom, which is not the case at all. Actually, most people don't want to, be self-employed or be an entrepreneur. I was actually on the phone with my accountant the other day, and I'll probably butcher these numbers. I don't know exactly where he got them, but he said, I think it was like only 7% of either people, or maybe it was Americans or a very small number between the ages of like 30 or 60 actually consider themselves like self-employed or have a business, which is a surprising stat, because I would have thought, just with all the stuff that I expose myself to and all the events that I go to, there's so many people that come to those events. I just think that, well, everybody wants this, but it's not true at all. In fact, most people, they feel more comfortable having a job. So this first circle represents the world. This next circle represents this is like, it's actually pretty small, but this represents just like all the people that are just interested in making money online. We're not even to like SEO and affiliate marketing and all that stuff yet, but this is like all the people that are just interested in making money online. Because most people, some people want to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, do something else, or repair cars or something. Like most people, that just, and that makes money, but they don't care about just like what we do and like making money and all that stuff. Most people don't want to be self-employed and have a business. Nope. So we got the world, we got most people trying to make money. And then of all the people that are trying to make money, only a few people actually take that first step. I'm sure you can name a whole list of people, friends and acquaintances you've met over the years that they do a lot of talking. Maybe they've read all the books and stuff, and they just talk about the things that they want to do and hope to do one day, and they just never get around to it. So this circle represents the people that actually just like take that first step. Maybe they read a book, they go through a course, they go to a conference. And then from there, most of those people give up, they just kind of maybe stay in that cycle of like reading another book. They just need to read one more book. They need to go to one more live event before they actually do anything that they learned. So that weeds out a lot of people. And then you've got the folks that, those people that took the first step, they, take some actions and they fail and give up. This is where most people stop, because they're like, oh, they're just scammed one too many times, and they give up and they go back to the 9-to-5 job. It's not even like they don't even try any other way to make money. They're just like, everything's a scam. Maybe they've signed up for too many biz ops or network marketing or MLMs, and there's like, I guess everyone's a scammer and stuff, and they're just got a bad taste in their mouth and go back to working at a job, because it's safe and secure or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then getting really small, but this is like this is like your real competition here. And then from there, maybe we've got the people that stick with it. Maybe these people are the folks that have made it through all these other phases, and maybe they're interested in affiliate marketing or affiliate marketing and SEO. So we're getting closer, to our true competition here. And then if we go a little bit farther down, like there's basically almost nobody. We're talking about a handful of people, and probably most of them are in this course, that know specifically kind of what I do and what I teach about long tail keywords and mass page sites. And then really, I mean, I've never gone like this small, but like in some of the other illustrations I do, but this is the reality of it. Like you can see this little dot here.
Yep.
This is basically your true competition. This is what people are so afraid of when they first get started. Yep. This is, a lot of folks on this call are probably familiar with the ClickFunnels and the ClickFunnels group. These are the comments that come up in the ClickFunnels affiliate group of like about fear of competition and saturation. Is ClickFunnels saturated? This little dot represents the people that have made it through all these phases or whatever, and they're specifically doing affiliate marketing using SEO, using mass page sites or something similar to what I do or teach, or SEO just in general. Maybe they're using YouTube, maybe they're using websites, and they're using those to specifically promote the same offer that you're thinking about promoting. So it's really small, and basically, and then there's 1,000 different ways to promote that offer. So like, I've got a bunch of friends that are dream car winners, and we all promote ClickFunnels differently, and we're all successful. And so that's just a straight up lie of like the scarcity myth. But so we're never going to cross paths most of the time. But even if we do, like, you're literally only competing with a handful of people. And I like what Tyler says, when you get to that small of a number, you probably know all the other people that you're competing with. You're probably friends with them. You know their names. Like, it's that small. So does that make sense to everybody? Is that kind of resonate with y'all to kind of see that? Because I had to, one day I just sat down and this came to me, because I used to be scared, afraid too, and just that fear paralyzed me. And then when I just mapped out this illustration, really thought about the reality of like, oh, I mean, I think this second circle is was the big epiphany that, oh, not everybody actually wants to make money or make lots of money or make money online. That, I think that changed everything, because I used to think that the make money online niche was so competitive, because I thought because I was interested in it that everybody else on the planet was, and that's not the case at all. Most people don't. I mean, unless just all of your friends are entrepreneurial, if you have friends outside of, being business owners, most people are employed that you probably know. And so that's kind of evidence of that. But let me know if that makes sense. Is that kind of clear? Is that making sense to folks of how this works and how this makes sense with the offers and stuff that you've seen out there and different niches, folks that are doing launch jacking? If you follow the people that are consistently making full-time incomes doing launch jacking through SEO, I can name one guy who's a friend of mine, Jeff Lenny, that stands out. And there's occasional people that come and go, but the ones that have stuck around for years and years, they're the same people. And usually when it comes to SEO, they only take up 1 or 2 spots, and there's 8 spots left on page 1. So and it's always been that way. In spite of all these trainings out there about launch jacking, you would think it would be extremely competitive, but it's not. So I'm gonna pop back.
That is so good, man. I just don't even, that alone is such an epiphany, a light bulb. I don't even know a grand enough word for how powerful that is. Guys, scarcity is being afraid of that big circle. They're not your competition. You're making people have power over you who aren't even interested. Scarcity will always paralyze you with fear, and you'll always be focused on that big circle, and you'll always worry about everything, and it'll cause you to never take action. Gosh, Greg, that illustration, it hits me every time. That's about only the 3rd time I've seen you do it, and it just gets the wheels spinning in my brain every time.
It debunks that this lie or myth, whatever you want to call it, that everybody's been sold. It's the opposite of that in my experience. And like, I can back it up now with the results of myself and you and all the other students and stuff. There's always more. Like, there's kind of tied into ClickFunnels, we were talking about before. There's always some new person that comes along and makes 6 figures and qualifies for the Dream Car Award that came out of nowhere. Don't know who this person is, and there were nobody before that. And whatever, they're not my competition, and they just appear.
That's it. So, yep. Guys, just some observations that just stand in contrast to the myth of scarcity. How many different restaurants and restaurant chains are there? People eat at all of them. How many brands are there of the same types of products, and yet they all fly off the shelves? How many banks are there and bank branches everywhere? And in our hometown in rural Mississippi, every time they break ground on something, it's like, ooh, what are they building? It's a bank. It's a bank branch. It's just another bank branch.
It's a bank. It's a Dollar General.
It's a Dollar General.
It's a car wash, or more than likely it's an apartment complex, which blows my mind, because I always wonder if it wasn't there before and then they build this huge new apartment complex, it always gets filled up with more people. Where do the people come from? I don't know, but they fill it up.
I wish I could remember the word. I'm totally blanking on the word that describes that. Basically, if you were to build an apartment complex in Austin right now, you would have tenants. There's a word for that, guys, and I'm so sorry, I'm completely blanking. I'll comment it after the video. There's, in our hometown of 25,000 in Mississippi, there's like $4 or $5 Dollar Generals. Greg and I joked about a Starbucks across from a Starbucks, around the corner from a Starbucks, next door to a CVS with a Starbucks in it. And someone will get coffee. People will get coffee all day long at every one of them. Why? Because scarcity is a myth. How many different soft drinks, beers, wines, liquors, clothes, household items, name brands, generic brands? How many products from Amazon? Guys, the illustrations are endless. There's always somebody looking for something specific. There's always people who prefer a certain brand. There's always people looking for a certain product. This is the myth of competition, that if somebody else is already promoting this product, then there's no way that I can get started now. If that were true, Greg and I would not be successful, and we would not be here today, period. We're not promoting a product that nobody out there is promoting. And if they started to, we would not, then our business would cease to exist. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but it's the truth. So some truths to combat scarcity. You can always get started. There's always room for you. There's always new products. There's always a new audience to tap into. Listen to this on Google. There's always new searches. 50% of Google searches every single day are brand new searches. Nobody will ever catch up to that. That blows my mind for a minute, because Greg and I were talking about how there's still people that search for stuff back from the old days, from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. There's people that search for stuff long past, and yet every day, 1 of 2 searches on Google are brand new. And there are trillions upon trillions upon trillions of searches every single day. To grasp that is almost impossible.
Yeah, even if so like even if every person on the planet had access to internet and a computer, which they don't, that's another surprising stat, that like most of the population of the world does not have access to the internet, which is crazy. But if they did, I mean, I believe this is the conservative number, that there's so much searches out there, and I only know one language, but there's all the different languages out there too, that there's enough search traffic and demand and offers out there that I believe just with search, SEO alone, I believe there's enough opportunity out there to support every single person on the planet making 6 figures or more per year. But they'll never happen, first of all, because of the illustration I shared. But if it did, what Tyler just said about the new searches, those people, everybody couldn't keep up, because there would always be more searches than there would, the people can't keep up as fast as the searches are searched for, or whatever, if that makes sense. Because the searches search for first, and the content comes after that. So like, you can't outrun, all the new searches that are being searched for. So, but basically, in theory, I guess it's not infinite, but in reality it is. It's
you
infinite.
Just can't find the edges. It's like, okay, it's not infinite, but you'll never get to the end.
Yeah.
Guys, Greg said this, it's not a zero-sum game. So the pie is infinity, and no matter how big of a piece of the pie you get, that just leaves infinity for everybody else. It's unbelievable. And Greg already just mentioned how, like in ClickFunnels, every year new people come out of nowhere and make 6 figures from it. And it's mind-blowing. That's just one product that almost feels and seems saturated. Yet even it isn't. It's just one product.
Yeah, and it took me a while to get outside of the internet marketing, make money online world. ClickFunnels is a teeny tiny little product compared to all the other brands of the world. It's nothing compared to all these other things. But since we're in this world, we think it's so big, and this is the greatest product in the world or whatever. But there will be another one, and there's plenty of other brands out there that make way more money than ClickFunnels. So it's very small. They're like, supplements, the supplement category. A couple of years ago, I was at downtown Austin at this dinner for a e-com event that was in town. And I was sitting around this table with all the people at the event. And I just happened to know somebody there, so I got invited for free. That's what happens when you when you know folks. But this guy at the table, he was from Germany, and he's had a supplement company, never heard of it. And he said, oh yeah, we just started a couple of years ago, and now we're making like millions of dollars a year. I'm like, really? I've never heard of this brand. Probably I don't even remember what it's called. And he was like, oh yeah, there's a lot of money in supplements. Like, I guess so
many. There's so many. And yet it's like, yeah, we started a supplement company, and like we started doing a few million a year when it was just 4 people.
And I think they mostly just sell in Germany. I'm like, what the hell?
It's mind-blowing, guys. Abundance is such a mind-blowing concept. It's almost incomprehensible. It is incomprehensible because you would have to be able to find the edges and the limits to comprehend it, and you can't. So you can't grasp how much Unbelievable, guys. This world is full of businesses of all kinds, and they're all doing business every day. And they're not all unique, original ideas. So many of them are just selling food, selling groceries, and selling stuff that we need every single day. That's the myth of competition. Guys, just looking at the time, I'm just going to keep moving right along. If this is resonating with you, let us know, man. We love to see your guys' comments. The myth of scarcity. It always stands in contrast to abundance. And this is just the first thing that Greg and I thought about in scarcity. The whole world and universe around us is abundant. Just, oh my gosh, I have so many notes here.
Yeah, I feel like we created scarcity, but nature just reflects abundance. It's trees. Just look at trees. Trees have, I don't know where you're going with this, but trees have seeds, which
that's where I'm going.
Create more fruit, which create more trees. Like, it's crazy. And each, just the apple has multiple seeds, which create multiple more trees, which creates thousands of more apples over the life period of that apple tree.
It's unreal, guys. The earth is such an abundant place. Look how long we've continued to survive in spite of everything throughout of known history and what we don't even know from before recorded history. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And like Greg said, one tree produces countless fruit in its lifetime, and each one of those fruits has so many seeds in it, and technically every single one of those could be planted. One tree could give birth to thousands of trees in its one lifetime. The earth, nature, the universe is an abundant place. My son is into astronomy right now. We watch videos about all of the planets in our solar system, and then there's a super Saturn that's 100 times bigger than Saturn, and then there's a sun that's 10,000 times the size of our sun, and our sun has been producing infinite light for I don't even know how long. I don't even want to guess how many millions or billions of years, and it's going to continue to for millions and billions of it's mind-blowing. Nature is a mind-blowingly abundant place, and I feel like that is the truth, and then scarcity is the lie. And so I'm just going to keep going with the notes. Gosh, so much. I'm even skipping stuff at this point.
Yeah, we may have to skip some of these illustrations just because for time.
Yeah, I saw this statistic the other day. No, sorry, not the other day. Several years ago, I tried to find it. It's one of those things that's kind of hard to specifically find online. The whole population of the earth, if we were shoulder to shoulder and chest to back, could fit in like Delaware, one of the smaller states in this country. And the rest of the earth would just be no people. I don't even understand that. We talked about before, Greg and I, Texas has more hogs than people, and I never even see a hog. Like, our neighborhood is quiet. I'm just looking out at houses and trees out the windows here in front of me and beside me. It's so big. It's so unbelievably big. There are cities stacked full of people, but yet at the same time, there's areas much larger than that with nobody, not one human person in those. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. This is a concept I really want to get to, Greg, about money and time. Guys, money is infinite. They're printing more of it every day. It's changing hands every day. Time is what's finite. Time, we're born and we have X of it allotted to our life, and that's it. And money can be created, but more time cannot be created. I love this quote. Greg, I'll let you say it just because you're the one that mentioned it. It just, mind-blowing.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not the one that said this, but some of y'all may be familiar with Gallant Dill. I think he said what time can most people are trying to spend time to
save money and spend time when people need to be spending money to save time.
Yeah, just let that sink in, because if you think about what most people do, I think we mentioned this yesterday about, like, I know my parents would drive across town or across the street to save a penny per gallon on gas. And this still happens. I know with my dad, he'll go to the next town over, which takes about 40 minutes to get to. He was in the military, so he goes to this military base to get his hair cut because it's under $10. But it basically takes him 2 hours or so to go there and back. And I'm just like, why don't you just spend $20 or however much haircuts cost in my little town to get it cut locally, because you'll save all that time. But he doesn't get it. He would rather, because that's, I guess, the way maybe his parents did it back then. And back then, money, it wasn't so inflated. So I guess it maybe made sense back then to save $1 to drive across town. But now, I mean, once you start to understand the value of your time, and if you don't, we gave a resource yesterday, so I can give a resource today. So I never knew really how to calculate my time. I understood that concept of like, oh, if your time's once you know how much you're worth, or if you value your time at $50 an hour, you should probably try your best to outsource everything that's less expensive than that, so you can free up your time. But a good book that gave me a metric to calculate how much my time was worth conservatively is called the No BS Time Management for Entrepreneurs. It's a really long title. No BS Time Management for Entrepreneurs by Dan Kennedy. Really long title, kind of ugly book cover, but very highly recommended. I think it's like the first page of chapter 1 that gives you the formula to how to calculate your time, and you'll have a clear number. And even some of you that may be working for $10, $20 an hour, when you see how much your time is really worth, if you're self-employed and just with the limited number of hours that you have in a day, it's really going to make you just change the way you've previously thought about the value of your time. Because at a job, you may be getting 10, 20 bucks an hour. I've never made more than about 14 to 17 bucks an hour. And again, that's pre-tax. So after taxes, it's less than that. You may not feel so like you're worthy enough to charge $100, $200 an hour, but specialists do it all the time. You pay that to doctors and mechanics all the time. You don't even think about it. Yep. You put it on a credit card. So with what we know how to do, if you were to teach this like we're doing now, or if you were to share this with a friend, this is extremely specialized knowledge. You can't learn this in school. You can't learn this in a book. You can't learn this in any other course. I didn't, Nobody taught me what I'm teaching you. They taught me pieces of it, and I had to put all those little nuggets together myself. No one has taught me what I'm going to reveal to you guys. But to get a specific, concrete number of how much your time is worth, I highly recommend checking out that book.
Guys, that's so good, man. That's so good. We didn't even mention about talking about the book, and I literally have that book on deck back here, but it's so good. Guys, here's the quote, and I'm going to read it one more time. Most people are spending time to save money when you really need to be spending money to save time. Most people spend what is a limited resource that they can never get back. Once you spend an hour, there's no refunds, to save money, which is something that more can be created of. When you need to frame your thinking that I got to spend the renewable resource that's infinite to save the one thing that I can never get back, which is an hour spent. And so that's just a powerful concept, guys. You need to spend money to buy time and never the other way around. Gosh, we've got some good stuff here, but I think we're going to have to just skip it, Greg, and keep moving. Let's see. Trouble. Oh man. This is one thing I want to mention though. Greg said this about The Secret. He found The Secret years ago. The Secret, like the law of attraction. And he said, what always bothered me was I didn't have a strategy to like attach that thinking to until I found this. And tomorrow we're going to be talking all about the strategy. Tomorrow's video is going to be called Domination Strategy. We didn't just pick that word domination because it sounded cool. It's so accurate to what we do in SEO affiliate domination. But Greg said that when I found SEO and these infinite searches and these infinite keywords, it was this infinite strategy to fit this infinite mindset. And I was able to connect those two things, and it changed my life. And I just Oh, I love that so much. I love that. Greg said, I'm playing in the same ocean as everybody else, but I'm doing something different. And guys,
Yeah, we're just on like different. My brother calls it like he's into the law of attraction and all that stuff, like different levels of awareness. We're almost like we're in the same ocean, but we're just on two different frequencies. You know, I'm right there on Google too, but most like nobody else out there is really doing what I'm doing. So it's just wide open, you know.
All the AM, FM, emergency radio stations, all the cellular bands of all the network providers, they're all around us all at the same time. But you just
we've got our own frequency. We're just
that's not even in the notes. Here I am adding stuff when I'm trying to skip stuff. It's an abundant process, and we can't wait to talk all about the strategy and the process tomorrow. Guys, we want to keep this to an hour, so we're going to keep moving. The next thing is success mindset. We've covered abundance and dealt with scarcity and competition, and now we want to jump into success mindset. This is something that I just say over and over and over to the point that I just feel like a broken record about being good at one thing. Here's the deal, guys. You can be being great at one thing. You can be good at three things and make 10K a month from each. But if you're great at one thing, that's where you can make 100K a month, 200K a month. Big money for being the best, the expert, absolutely great at one thing. And just to illustrate this really quickly, I love a quote from the great Bruce Lee, one of the best of all time. He said, I'm not afraid of somebody that's practiced 1,000 moves one time. I'm afraid of somebody that's practiced 1,000 moves, one move 1,000 times or 10,000 times. I'm afraid of this person that's really, really, really good at one thing because they might hit me with it. I might not be able to defend against the person that can execute that so flawlessly. I love this. I don't really cuss much. I mean, that's just who I am. But Ron Swanson from Parks and Recreation, never half-ass two things, whole-ass one, because the one thing can be so much bigger than two things that you're this good at, 2 times 2. Adding those two things together is not as big as being awesome and amazing at one thing. We mentioned the story of Henry Ford, not yesterday, but in our call last week about this, just that he only knew a few things. And when he was in court being questioned about a lot of things, the judge looked at him and just said, how do you not know the answer to all these questions? I'm asking you this, I don't know. I'm asking this, I don't know. And he just said, I know what I know, and I have a button on my desk for everything else. Like, he succeeded in building the first large-scale car manufacturer by just sticking to what he knew and filling in the gaps around him with everything else. Again, use money to buy time and never the other way around. And Greg, I messed you up earlier because I put the quote here instead of up earlier where we're talking, and then I passed the torch to you. What if it was worth a plane ticket and a rental car to get somewhere, because your day is worth more than that? Instead of driving for 15 hours straight to get somewhere and sacrificing a day of your time, what if a plane ticket and a rental car was worth the thousands of dollars that you'll make by being there? Your thinking just has to shift.
Yeah, like our parents, we both live, I don't know, about 12 or so hours away from home. Our parents still drive out here, which that bugs me. I fly now to go back home, and my parents, well, both of ours are retired, but it just bugs me the time that they lose. Because even if me and Tyler just conservatively gave an hour of our time a value of $100, that's a $1,200 day or more, and that's there and back. The plane ticket for first class only costs like $600. So I mean, that's round trip. So
coach is a couple $100.
We're actually saving money to go first class back home.
Yep. Our parents spend a day driving. They spend a day and a half tired. and then they finally recover, and then they've got to go home, and then they've got to recover. And it just, your mindset's just got to shift, guys. We're still talking about mindset, and your mindset has just got to change. We talked about your value earlier. When you have money, you'll start to realize how much you're worth. When you have passive income, your time is worth at least that. If you could spend a day building a site that'll make several $100 a month for the next couple of years or next several years, then that day is worth thousands of dollars, guys. So another thing in the success mindset.
Let's just pause for a second. Well, I'm just scanning ahead. Like, guys, we literally have like a lot more stuff, and I guess we won't get to all of it today. But let me know if in the comments if this is resonated, if this is making sense to y'all. Just kind of,
you know what, I may go live, Greg, and share my assets example just in the group. Okay. I may just do some bonus stuff this week because I want to share everything that I've learned.
Or maybe we can do it after these 5 sessions and stuff, just as some value added bonus.
We're gonna figure it out, guys, but we want to give it to you. We want to give it to you. So dealing now with another thing in the success mindset, you've got to have an all-in mindset, and that really kind of comes back to just being good at one thing. Be all in 100%. You have to believe in yourself 100%. You have to believe in the hot process 100%. And then you need to focus on one thing and don't stop until it works, until you get it, until you see it happen. I can't stress that enough. You've got to, so I just put here, set a goal to make $1,000 in a month from mass page sites. And keep finding products and keep building mass page sites until you make $1,000 in a month. And the thing is once you do it for 1 month, it's probably going to happen all the months after that for a long time. And then if you keep building, it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and everything that we've experienced and way beyond that. Then set a new goal, $1K a month from a specific product, software, service every month. And work at it and don't stop till you get it. So you have one $1,000 a month income stream. You see, just keep setting goals, keep setting goals, keep setting goals. Now I get 5 of those and have a $5,000 a month income from 5 $1,000 a month streams that you can count on, that you build. So, guys, surround yourself with the right people who speak the truth to you, people who will pull you back if you're falling away, and just don't worry about anything else. Again, all in. Forget about Mr. Dropshipper guy. Forget about Mr. Ecom whatever guy. Forget about it. Somebody's going to pop up in ClickFunnels tomorrow and that's crossed the $1 million mark from ClickFunnels. But just forget about what they're doing, because they're doing them, so you do you, and you'll become exactly the same results as them. They're not spread thin. They figured something out and they did it until it worked, and they kept doing it. I had a quote here. Pick one thing and do it until it works. Then keep doing it until it works better. Then keep doing it until you're doing it better than anyone else. If there's anything that I could share with you guys, it's that. I had a couple of just freebies in this section too. 2 quotes from Warren Buffett. Number 1, always have at least 2 streams of income. Never depend on one stream of income. Warren Buffett says always have 2 things that are making up your income, because then instead of losing everything, you're only going to lose half at worst. At worst, the worst thing that can happen to you is you lose half. Half is a lot better than all. Half pays the rent. Half pays the bills. Maybe you got to put groceries on a credit card, but you don't hit 0. Another thing that Warren Buffett says is if you don't learn to make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die. Even though we're at 58 minutes or 56, since we have.
Yeah, we may go a little bit longer than normal. We want to be respectful of your time, but
catch the replay up where you left off.
Yeah.
And I'm talking fast, guys, just because I want to give it to you.
And just a little sad reality to piggyback off, work until you die. You see it all the time. We saw it growing up. Well, there's people that are older than our grandparents being greeters at Walmart. I mean, it's one thing if you're bored and you want to go back and do that for fun, but hopefully you don't want to be there because you have to be there. Not at that age.
Man, gosh, for sure. Guys, learn even all your retirement is, if you do have a good career, your 401k Roth IRA is building up enough passive income to retire so that you'll eventually be making money from the stock market and all your investment portfolio that's been in there that you've been contributing to for 30, 40 years. to make money while you sleep, which means you don't have to work until you die, but it traditionally happens very late in life. So our strategy, I wake up in the morning and look at how much money I made last night. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's changed my life. I can't keep talking about that. There it is. And so keep moving on. Kill shiny object syndrome, guys. You've got to kill it because you need to be all in on one thing. You just have to. I have a few notes about shiny object syndrome. Number one, it's real. It's absolutely real. You can become addicted to just learning and not taking action. We see it all the time. Greg can definitely nod his head. We see it all the time. Some people are
yeah,
addicted.
And if I think there's two maybe parts of this. There's first when you're first getting started, you don't have the success that you want yet. You're thinking you need to read another book, but then where me and Tyler are at, we're already successful. We're already getting results with a thing that we know how to do. It's also challenging at that point because I never want to stop learning. I'm always curious about learning new things.
Same.
But the fastest and best way for me and Tyler to scale is to take the things that are already working and do more of those things rather than going off on this huge tangent like, hey, I'm going to go learn drop shipping now or go learn YouTube ads now. Like, we've got friends that know all those things. So if we ever want to get into that, we just partner or hire them. Like, people really value and they're looking for specialists. So if this is for you and you get results with it or it resonates with your personality or whatever, then do this or until you get results. And it's challenging to continue to stick with it once you are getting results, because when you have passive income like me and Tyler, you are essentially retired. So it can be tempting to go take some of that money and go learn new skills, but then you got to get good at something new. So it's
you're kind of at starting point again on that thing.
Yeah, it's a lot easier just to beat the same game over and over again. Like we played video games growing up. Tyler a little bit more than me, but he was able to, you get good at beating the same game. So it's easy to go to beat that same game, Mario or whatever, over and over again. And like if you've got a new game that you got to learn and play versus the one that that you can beat every time, and that the game that we're talking about online, it translates into dollars. So every time you beat the game, every time you rank, you make money. It just makes sense to go after the easy money. Just keep going after the easy money because you already know how to make that. And that's a challenge. But it's real,
Yep. It's real, guys. It's real. There it is. So much, guys. Shiny object syndrome is real. It's something that many people coming into this industry struggle with, because people are out there crushing it, doing all kinds of things. And then people see the results and they want the person that just made $1 million in ClickFunnels just crop it. But they got there by doing their thing. So you do your thing and you'll get there too. I can't say that enough. You do you, man. I'm going to do a live in the next few days or over the weekend or something on building assets, because I want to teach you how, instead of making 10K a month and living on 10K a month, I want to teach you how to make 10K a month and take 5K a month and putting it into something that will ultimately produce 10K a month forever. And then you live off of that. And now you're not working. That's assets. Assets produce cash and have value. I'm also going to do another one on the analogy of not spreading yourself too thin. I said this quote earlier. I'm going to say it again. Pick one thing and do it till it works. Then don't switch. Keep doing it until it works better. Then don't switch. Keep doing it until you're doing it better than anyone else, or it's producing 10 times the income of instead of you getting 1x from 3 things, get 10x from one thing. Mr. Lark, we shared it a couple times ago, like last week on Wednesday, just the last day of school. Jeffries, pick one thing in life and be the best at it. Do it. There's so much more value in being great at something than there is in being good at several things. In entrepreneur land, for sure. At a job, not so much, but we're talking about entrepreneur land.
Yeah, again, and kind of going back to the health example, if you had something specific wrong with your body and you went to the whatever nurse practitioner, somebody that's can sort of help you with most anything, but they're not great at anything, or each of those things. And you have something very specific, like whatever, like a heart disease or something. You wouldn't feel too confident if you ask them about the thing that you're struggling with, and they're like, well, I don't have like the degree or specialty in that, but yeah, I could do that. I can kind of like do that. No, that wouldn't make you very confident if they're like, we're going to have to open you up and stuff, and go in there like, yeah, I mean, I've read a book about it. I went to a class, so I think I could do that. No, you're not going to hire that person to go and operate on you.
I want the
to be a
person
specialist
doing that one thing every day, period.
Yep.
Guys, once you've got something that's working and that you understand, spend your time scaling that one thing, all of your time, all of your money, all of your headspace and your mental energy, because those are limited resources too. There's only so much I can think about and process. So give all of your mental energy to something that's working. Just going to skip that. Yeah. Andrew Carnegie, the way to get rich is put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket. Watch the heck out of it. The billionaire steel magnate. He had a multi-billion-dollar industry in steel. I just got to keep scrolling through these notes here, guys. A lot of wealthy people became wealthy because they did one thing well, and that set them up for the rest of their life. Then they had money to live on and throw at new things and new things and new things until they could build more income streams that are working. And they can fail because they can afford it. Because when $100K a month is coming in like clockwork, you can live on 50 and you can just keep throwing 50 until that 50 strikes something that makes another $100K a month income stream.
One thing that I stole from Ryan Dice, who some of y'all are familiar with, that has Digital Marketer. He may not have been the first to say this, but he said this. He's been saying this for many years, that the person, when it comes to like, well, I guess anything, but especially paid traffic, the person who can pay the most to acquire a customer wins. So like these, if you can only spend $1 to acquire a customer, but Geico can spend $3,000, they can go spend that before they need to make $1 or whatever. They're going to win. They're going to beat you in most cases because they can take a massive losses that you can't take. And so
that's right. It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true, guys. Man, we're pretty much at the end. Here's some illustrations, but I can just go live and do those things. Guys, mindset is so foundational. Every time I start a new course, which is actually not that often, I really am focused. I'm practicing what I preach, and so is Greg. You might think that we probably buy courses every month. We don't. We learn. We seldom do, and when we do, they're very, very on target for the exact specific next thing they want to do. And I always, starting a new course is exciting, but then it's always fun to get past like the first couple of modules and into the bread and butter. Well, tomorrow is the bread and butter. Tomorrow is not mindset anymore. It's domination strategy. Why we call it that, why it is that, how it works. A lot of you know things from the course, but we just want to put it all together, why this is what we do. And it's infinitely scalable. It's infinitely sustainable. It's simple. It's one thing over and over and over and over and over that works over and over and over and over and over. Greg, I don't want to cut you off from anything, but I'm just, mindset is the key. And I can't wait to, now that we're done with that, I can't wait to talk about more of the bread and butter. And I'm not going to sign off and if Greg wants to add anything, but.
Yeah, this is great. And we did go a little bit over, but not too much. And, we've got a lot more to share with this. So I think Tyler's going to hop on maybe at some time after these first initial 5 sessions, probably, and just share some bonus sessions, just because there's a lot of value in the stuff that we had to cut out because we want to be, again, respectful of your time. This is an hour out of your day, whether you're watching live or on the replay, and we don't want to go too long. So
Yep. That's it. So guys, if you were with us live, we're so glad you were here. Those of you catching the replay, drop the hashtag replay, drop your responses. If just something stands out to you guys, we love to hear it all. And we're going to sign off for the day. And I'm going to go back through the comments from yesterday's video as well as today's and just kind of I saw some things I needed to talk to. And guys, we're super duper pumped, and we can't wait to get to day 4 when we finally talk more about SEOAD Elite. But that's day 4. And tomorrow we kick off the strategy stuff. It's going to be fun. Guys, have an awesome day, and we'll see you tomorrow.